It's not just Britney's mental health that has her friends worried, it's her finances as well. Sources say she had $60 million when the conservatorship ended, but that she's burned through most of it. One confidant told TMZ that Britney goes to Hawaii or French Polynesia by herself via private jet almost every month and drops close to $1 million per trip. She's also had to spend millions on the legal battle that she just settled with her dad, Jamie. Britney accused him of stealing from her when he was in charge of her finances, but he was able to show that all of his expenses were legitimate and court approved. And so not only did she have to pay for her own legal fees, about $4 million, she had to cover his as well, another $2 million. I want to bring in someone who knows a lot about Britney's case. Jim Moret is an attorney and chief correspondent for Inside Edition. You and I have had a couple of conversations about Britney through this whole very sad series of episodes in her life, Jim. Start with the buyer's remorse for the Free Britney crowd. Clearly, it doesn't look like she is doing well without help.
Well, that Free Britney crowd is largely responsible for a lot of the public pressure that caused this conservatorship to be focused on and then end. But you have to remember, Ashleigh, these conservatorships are not entered into lightly. They're generally a point of last resort. A judge has to approve them, and a judge did approve that conservatorship. And it was through Britney's Instagrams that many of the Free Britney movement was formed to say she's unhappy, she's being mistreated. And you're right, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors, and neither do many in the Free Britney movement. Even though their heart may be in the right place, it may not have been the best thing for her, given what we're seeing now.
Okay, could she go back into the same kind of conservatorship, or could she maybe even just go into a financial conservatorship, given that she's bleeding out everything she's ever earned?
It's not illegal to burn through all your money. People do it all the time, especially people in entertainment in Hollywood. If she blows through everything, that's still not reason enough to go into a conservatorship. As I say, a judge has to approve it, and it has to be a last resort. There have to be less onerous methods to help you first. So there's a conservatorship of your finances, your estate, and then there's a conservatorship of the person. She was under both before because she needed medical treatment, mental health treatment. And it's much more likely, given what we're seeing, that she certainly needs something, some attention, whether it's medical, whether it's medication, whether it's counseling, who knows? The question is really, who's around her now? Because since she got divorced, Sam Asghari was the closest person to her. And there's a question about who is close enough to her now to effectuate any change, or are they all yes people?
Or helping her to stay on a medication regimen because, she clearly needed that very much before. She deleted her Instagram today. The last time she did that, her fans went bananas, called the police, and there was a welfare check done. Do we know if that might be happening now because she did that again today?
We don't know that yet. And part of the reason is partly because of her small circle of friends. You mentioned the TMZ report. These people are talking off the record without naming themselves. And it's very difficult to get a clear read on what's going on. But when you hear about somebody burning through $1 million a trip for vacation and burning through, say, $6-7 million in legal fees, and hearing that a $60 million estate is on the verge of going broke, that is cause for concern, certainly. And then when you see some of these postings that you showed, they're very disturbing. I remember that knife incident that we all witnessed just a few months back. It seems like there's a cry for help, and I don't know who's really going to heed that and listen and really do something.
Poor kid. I mean, she's just had the most bizarre life, and I think really unfortunate upbringing, not just at her home, but through this bizarre Hollywood fascination and the pop star frenzy around her. I wish the best for her. I really do. I hope you and I talk about this again in a better resolution, but I don't know. I'm not optimistic. Jim, thank you. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Always good to talk to Jim Moret. He's got his finger on the pulse, and he's a lawyer, so he knows. He does his research. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider, and don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.